Hi, welcome to my Skyrim Creation Kit quest tutorial. In this beginner tutorial, I will walk through the steps in creating a basic side quest for Skyrim Special Edition using the Skyrim Creation Kit. The quest I've created for this tutorial is a quest involving an NPC trapped in a cage inside a dungeon, who then asks the player to retrieve the key for the cage for a reward. By the time you finish following this tutorial, you should have a good idea for how to create your own quest for a project or mod you're developing. When creating a quest, you'll want to come up with the basic idea for the quest, so you know what's going to happen during it. The following is the example quest that we will be creating for our tutorial quest. So here we have, player encounters Gellmar Bognose, a Nord treasure hunter who was locked in a cage by a friend who betrayed him named Nysgrod Finefoot. He tells the player that his betrayer is holding onto the key and is deeper in the dungeon. He offers the player a sum of gold if they get revenge for him and bring the key back to save him. So this will be our plot for our quest, just kind of the what happens. So what you want to do is you want to break the quest down into stages. So the pre-quest, when the player has never met Gellmar. The key is in the dungeon, hidden. Stage 1 of the quest. The player has met Gellmar and has been given the task to retrieve the key. Stage 2, the player has killed Nysgrod. Stage 3, the player has obtained the key. Stage 4, the player has returned the key to Gellmar, gifting the reward. So these are the stages of the quest. You'll want to write these down or just chop them down for yourself when you're making your quest so that you know what you're going to want to make your quest stages. So these are the stages that can be seen as quest markers for the event that most recently happened. They are used to determine dialogue options as an NPC offers, set objectives, quest targets, and track the overall progress of the quests. Okay, now that part was just thinking about your quest, just getting the idea for it, and so now we're going to want to get started on it. So the first thing you want to do, given that you already have the level you want to make it in, you just want to go into the object window. Of course, open the cell that you're working in. Mine is called CKQ West 01 for Creation Kit Quest 1. And that's the cell I'm working in. And then what you want to do is navigate to the object window and go to Character Quest. It's up here, Character Quest. And then you want to click anywhere in the list of names here, right click one of them, hit New. This will bring up the quest window. And you want to, first, there's a few things we have to do here. So we have the ID, quest name, priority, the type, and the event, and we need to fill in all of these for our quest. So the ID field. This is the field used by the Creation Kit to identify your quest. You can name this whatever you wish for your quest, but here we'll just fill this in with CKQ01. This name means Creation Kit Quest 1, of course, and the quest name, we're going to want to call this Gellmar's Savior. And now the priority. This number affects the ordering of dialogue when multiple quests share an actor. It may not be that important for what you're doing, but for us it's especially not that important. But a good number would be 60 for a typical quest. And then type. Up here in the drop-down menu, you want to pick side quests. This affects how your quest shows up in the player's journal. And now for the event, hit change location event. This is going to be important later, just for our dialogue to work, and especially when we start working with the story manager. So after you fill these in, make sure to hit OK at the bottom to save your quest. Okay, so now that you've closed it, find it again in the object window. You just search for it. So CKQ, and it should show up. You want to open it up because now more options will be there since your quest is now saved. And it there you go. So now we want to make the quest stages. So go into the quest stages tab, and this is where the quest stage breakdown we proposed earlier is going to be set up. In the index column right here on the left, right click it and select new. Leave the first one as 0 because this one will be our pre-stage before we meet Gellmar. Right click and create a new one. Label this one 10. It's helpful to number quest stages in increments of 10 because that allows you to go back and add new stages in between those later if you decide to add new ones and you don't have to renumber everything. And then create stages for 20, 30, and 40. And then you're just going to hit OK at the bottom again. Okay, now that you've saved your quest and the stages are made, you'll want to create Gellmar's cage for the quest. So here is my level, of course, that I made. So the player will start here in this little hallway. They'll walk forward and they'll be in this room with a bunch of cages, and Gellmar will be in this cage. We'll be creating this cage. So to start, I'm just gonna remove this one just so that I have space to create another one. So in the let's see. So we go to the object window. You'll wanna find each of the parts for it. So go to the bottom just to quickly get this. Go to all, and then in the filter, search Metal Cage 01, and it should be the first one. Drag that into the scene. I didn't have the grid lock on. You can hit that and it makes it a lot better. There you go. So now just bring that in and make sure it's good looking. Yep, it's a pretty good spot for it. There you go. So then you want to type metal cage door to get the door. And there it is. So drag this in and make sure that when you connect these that they are lined up and you do have your grid lock on so that then they fit nice and perfectly in here. And then if you want, you can double click on the door and hit open by default just to see how it looks when it's open. And there you go, just to make sure it's oriented right, and you check that again to turn that off. Hit OK. And there, now you have the cage and the door. So here's an important thing that we need to set up now. So on the door, double click it again and go to lock. Check the locked box here. Set the level to requires key, and then set the key to none. Just leave it none. Later on, we're going to make a key that we're going to be giving to Gellmar so that he can unlock the door. Okay. So then you can hit OK to save that, and then make sure that when you create this sort of area, like if you're creating the area, like this is, we're creating where the quest is given. So since in this level the whole quest will be contained within this dungeon, I'm creating this area near the entrance of the dungeon, just so that the player is given the quest early on and they have the whole dungeon to think about it. Okay, now that you've placed the cage, you'll want to create the actor, or the quest giver, he's called. Gellmar Bognose. So first, come up to the object window. I've highlighted the text in the filter box. You want to clear that. And then up in the object window, you want to scroll all the way to the top where it says Actors, Actor. Right click anywhere in the list and hit New. This will bring up the actor window. Now to set up a new actor, there are a few things we have to fill out. In the ID box, just like the quest ID, this needs to be unique. Fill the ID with CKQ Gellmar BN. This name has to do with the quest. See, I gave it the prefix that I'm using for the quest. And in the next box in the name, we'll want to give him his actual name. This is the name that will show up to the player. Type Gellmar Bog Nose. And there you go. The short name, this is used by the system like for how a friend might address the actor in like letters addressed to the character or so. This is not that important, but you should still fill it out for each actor you create. I'm just going to call it Gellmar. And unique, check this box because this will to let the game know that there should only be one of this actor in the world. This is usually like if you're using a character that's like just a bandit, like if you're spawning like an actor that's just like an animal, you know, just things that appear more than once. In our case, we want to make sure this is checked. Now we want to set up a few things in the traits section on the right. For race, we want to, this is actually, I have it in the inventory area. You want to come up to traits tab. So there you go. It should look like this for you. The race, you want to change this. This can be to whatever you want. For my case, I'm going to select Nord race and from the drop down menu, and then I'm going to select in the voice type, I'm going to type male Nord, and there we go, pick that one just to go with the Nord race, of course. And now we want to give our actor some clothes so that he's not just running around naked. Now you come up to the inventory spot, inventory tab if it's called, and then in default outfit, this is where you pick the clothes that they wear. These are the presets. You can create your own, but I'm just gonna use the ones that they make already. It's pretty handy. So you'll want to type in, after clicking on the drop down, type in Hunter outfit 04. Okay, it didn't work. Hunter outfit 04, and then it should show up hooded. This is the one we want, Hunter outfit 4 hooded. And so then you'll want to hit OK to save your actor. There you go. I'm going to save my game here, just save my progress. Now that you've created Gellmar, you want to place him in the world. So now we'll want to place him inside the cage that we just made for him. So let's go and do that. So move over to the cage that you made, or wherever. I'm going to use this one because I put a little chest in it that looks like it's opened. Just fits his character. He's a treasure hunter, of course. So what you want to do is in your object window, search for him. So I called him CKQ Gellmar. There he is. BN is for his Bognose title. And then just drag him in to the render window. He should look pretty much like this. These clothes actually, I'm going to turn off the grid snap for him. I'm going to, pressing Z, dragging up, and then hitting F to drop him to the floor. So there. Now this is what he will look like. The clothes and outfit we gave him are displayed here. You can see everything pretty much how we made it. So there you go. Now he doesn't have any dialogue or anything yet. We'll get to that in a little while. But first we want to give him something to do. So we're going to actually give him an idle marker so that he is it looks like he's picking on a lock to try and escape. It'll just be a fun little extra thing to do. But for us it's actually important because if you don't give him an idle marker, inside the cage, he's actually going to spawn somewhere out here, like in the middle of the room. It's just something I've noticed while trying to make this. So first, come up here to the object window, clear the filter, go all the way to the bottom to all, and then up here, search lockpick idle marker, and you want to type these fast, of course, because if you don't, then this could actually slow everything down. Like if you just type the L, it will slow down a lot because it's loading everything with L, so type quickly. And so once you find it, of course, drag it into the level, to the cell, place it right in front of the lock. I'm going to rotate it a little bit with my, of course, my rotation grid lock not on. So I'm placing it there, kind of just pointed at the lock. So then, to connect them, double click on Gellmar's actor reference in the scene and hit linked ref tab, and then you'll want to right click in the references list, hit new, and then here click select reference in the actor, select reference in render window, my bad. And when this is highlighted in white, double click and make sure that this is correct, hit OK, and then hit OK. So now he is referencing this, of course. So double click on the lockpick idle marker like I just did, and then come up to patrol data tab and check the patrol data checkbox, and for idle time list at least 1 second. This is important because if you don't put any time here, he'll start the animation and then just stop forever. Since this is his only idle marker that we gave him, he'll be patrolling here forever if we give it more than 1 second. So he'll just start it and then just keep doing it. And there you go. So now this ensures that our actor will stay doing that. And you of course wanted to hit OK to close that. So now let's see. So now I'm going to save my work here again. Also note that if you're if the cell your actor is placed in, like this whole level, if I didn't put any nav mesh in it yet, if I decided to test the actor in game, because you can test it at this point, he'll be placed somewhere in the level. The game will automatically give him some nav mesh. So like if you don't create nav mesh, like right here, it might create a small square or 2 triangles of nav mesh, and he'll just spawn there and he won't be able to move anywhere else. So of course, yeah, save your work. And if you want, you can actually test him right now. So go ahead and do that if you would like to. But I'm going to move on to the next step here. Okay, so once you are ready to move on, we will create our enemy player, or enemy actor is what they are. So just like before, you want to clear the filter here, go up to actor, actors, or actors, actor, and then right click in the list, hit new, just like before. And for this one, we will be creating some different information from before. So there. So now, in the actor window, in the ID text field, type CKQ Nysgrod, FF for fine foot. And his name, of course, being Nysgrod fine foot. And the short name, you'll want to just put the first name. And we're not going to check unique here because he is going to be created from a template. We're going to practice using templates. So instead of specifying each detail, we're going to actually use the template. And here we go. So down here in the template data section, you can select from a few, like many different ones. Select just in the drop down menu, type LVL bandit, and we want to, well, actually I probably should have typed more of it, but it's LVL bandit melee 1H right here. So this is just going to give us a default bandit level to our players like experience level. So that's what the LVL does. The LVL gives you a leveled actor, and the 1H is for a one-handed actor. So since we still want Nysgrod to look and sound a certain way, we will make some changes in the traits tab. So come up here to traits, and once it loads, we're going to want to give him some information. So pick his race. He was a friend of our Nord friend over there, so we're going to give him the Nord race as well. And we're actually going to give him a male bandit voice from the drop down menu. And just like before, we want to give this actor a specific outfit, so we're not going to use the bandit outfits. We're going to take the inventory tab, and on the default outfit, pick the same one, so hunter outfit. I'm just going to find it from here. There you go, hooded. So now, in the center of the inventory tab is the inventory list, which is this part right here, this table. Other than the current outfit objects, these are what is in the inventory of the actor. So if you tried to pickpocket the actor, you would see these items in the inventory. And up here, if you killed the actor, these objects, of course, add themselves to the inventory. So this is the inventory. Right click in the table and hit new. We're going to give Nysgrod an iron war axe to wield. So to do that, of course, you right click, you create your object here, and then with this object selected, in the object drop down bar here, type in iron war axe and hit enter, and this should automatically change the object and to what we want, of course. So now he will wield this for his one-handed. Now, since we want to use specific actor attributes from the template so that he's able to function already as his AI, hit the use traits box. Oh, actually, uncheck this, my bad. We want this unchecked because these actually overwrite. Like if you click these, they overwrite what you've made. So don't hit that. Now I have to do this again. Nord race. This is the bandit voice. Oh, male bandit, my bad. There you go. So these, make sure you don't hit these too early. So these, we want the traits in the inventory to be what we made. So hit so check every box except for use traits, use inventory, and use script and base data. So we need to hit everything else. So let's start with use stats, use factions, use AI data, use AI packages, attack data, def pack list, spell list. If you know how to use these other ones and you want to overwrite them for your actor, like if you want to make him a mage, you might want to change something else. But keep these other ones the way they are. Also this. So there. Now save these 4 so that what we overwrite we get to keep. Now hit OK at the bottom to save your actor. And I'm going to save my work here again. So now let's place our new Nysgrod actor in the world. I'm going to move over here to the end of my dungeon so that the player, like, when the player goes through, they will talk to Gellmar over here, Then they'll move into this room, and then just like throughout their journey in the dungeon, they move through the rooms. And here's the final room. This is just a shortcut that links back. So in here, we want to place our new actor. So I'm going to go to the object window, actors, actor, and you can just type from the filter CKQ. He'll probably show up, but there you go. Nysgrod, Finefoot, just plop him in. Now you'll notice that he's actually just a big M. This is because he is a template actor. The fact that he is green M is for his like difficulty. If you want to make him a more difficult level actor, you can double click on him, and in his level actor screen you can select medium, hard, very hard, or none. I don't know what none does, but these are the different difficulties for him. So if you make it medium and hit OK, he'll be a little stronger, and he'll be yellow. I'm going to leave him on easy just for our quest. But it's as simple as dragging him from there to here. And actually, if you want, you can test here. So you can save and load up in the game to test your actor. And just so right now, what works is Gellmar will be there trying to pick the lock. He'll say a few default like hello, hi, who are you, like what's going on, lines to you. And over here, Nysgrod will be like a regular bandit kind of enemy. So to move on, let's start on our dialogue. I'm going to move out just a little bit. Okay, so to start on dialogue, navigate to our quest again. I'm going to leave this up here. Just go to character quest, and there it is. Double click on your quest to open up the quest window. Now, in the player dialogue tab, you can use the dialogue views tab here, but see, I'm working for the Skyrim special edition, and I'm having some issues with this. But you could also co-dialogue through the player dialogue tab. Instead of it being like a visual flowchart, it's just in a list here. It's not any more difficult to read. It's just what it is. You might have to use this instead. So for starting up, you're going to want to, in the branches table here, this small one, right click and hit new. Here you'll want to type the name of our quest. It already comes with the quest prefix here. We're going to add meeting Gellmar branch, and that will be our branch ID. You hit enter or OK, and it's going to pop up a new window to give us a topic. You want to just leave this the default because this name is good. So we have created our Gellmar meeting branch and our Gellmar meeting Gellmar branch topic. Now, before moving on, there are some terminology that I should go over. So in here, there's a few different things. So I'm going to right click, hit new info. And so here's a good way to start this. So response, a single line of dialogue that is said by an NPC. The text is limited to 150 characters only here. It can be assigned an emotion or animation while they're saying it. And then the info about this here is a collection of responses right down here. This is the list of collection of responses together for a single circumstance. When a character says multiple lines one after the other, that's kind of where the info will just be. And then topic back out here. Well, this is just the topic in general, but out here, this topic, list of topics, is the collection of infos that an NPC might say in a given situation, often in response to specific dialogue choice. So we'll first have this meeting him one, and then he'll give us a prompt, and then below this we'll create like the player picks yes or the player picks no to helping him out. Branch, this is just the collection of topics that comprise a particular piece of conversation flow from the player's perspective. So to start this whole thing, now you've got your branch and your topic made. In here, I'm just going to delete this because we didn't want to use that. So now, right click in here, this doesn't matter by the way. Hit new. And this will let you type in a new response. Actually, before doing this, you'll want to do here, my bad. Don't do that. Up here in the topic text, this is what you should start with. Because here you're writing a response to what you say up here. So you'll talk to him, and you'll want to type in here what the player selects when they first talk to him. So he'll greet you, you'll talk to him, and then you'll have the option to say this. So we'll want to say to the player, to the actor, do you need help with anything? So here's what you will say to Gellmar. And then in the table below, you want to right click, like I've done a few times, hit new. And then here you will type his response. So for him, we want to say, why yes. Actually, I'm going to type it with a comma. Why yes, actually, I came in here just a little while ago to find treasure. Sorry, I'm just looking over to my left where I wrote it down. With someone, and they locked me in this cage. So since we have more to write, we're actually just going to cut it off here. Hit the OK button at the bottom. Now it's going to bring up the topic info, which I've shown before. This topic info window is a lot more information about what you just written for when they say the lines. All we need is this conditions part, and you'll want to right click here, set a condition. All NPCs in Skyrim they don't all set conditions, but if we have a quest topic like this one, we don't want every person in Skyrim being able to say these lines. We want it to just be him. So let's right click here and select new, and there's a lot of information here. This get is ID is just a check to see if it is this person, and in here in the invalid part we want to hit when I click on it, and it takes a little bit, but here you want to type in the name of our person, so CKQ Gellmar BN, and hit OK. So here, now that he is there, the get is ID is actually the default selection for the condition function, because it's the most commonly used for dialogue conditions. That's not important really, but it's helpful that it's like that. This is a comparison, just equals 1. It doesn't really apply too much to this condition that we made here. So then you just hit OK to save that, and now you should see it in the list here. Only Gellmar can say the lines, but we don't want him to say it all the time. We just want him to say it the first time players are starting this quest, before they accept it. So right click, and we're going to create another new condition. We're going to further limit this bit of dialogue based on the quest's current stage. So click on the condition function, pull down right here, and get stage. So I'm just going to type get stage, hit enter, and there it is. Now if you check the invalid spot, it's actually just showing up quests. It's kind of smart like that, it just knows. So you can type CKQ And there's my quest, 01 right there. Hit OK. And so now it's getting this stage from the quest, but now we need to care about the value. So first we are starting at stage 0, so we could select this value, and you want to just type 0. The other part doesn't really matter. So now stage 0 is before meeting Gellmar. So before completing the first stage of the quest, he will now say this line. But the problem is a safer way to check this condition in case we wanted to add new steps in between is to change this value to 10, 10, because 10 is our next step, and make it less than 10. So now it is a much safer way to do it, because it's just saying before the first step is completed. And if you wanted to add another step later on, you want to do that. You don't want to make it equal to 0, really. So there, hit OK. So now it's before that first quest stage, and hit OK. You saved it. And now your final topic info table should look like this, just before moving on. So don't hit OK just yet. We want him to actually finish his response lines. We want him to say a few more things. So right click in here and hit new. And it'll pop up another new response window tab here, and we can type the rest of what we want him to say. So we want to enter in, he is still around here somewhere. Let me see. He's still around here, and I know he has the key to this cell, this cage, with him. Would you be so kind as to ahem fetch it. And then once you type that in, you just want to hit OK. And so now you have created your first set of response dialog. You can hit OK at the bottom of the topic info page. These, by the way, these deleted ones I've created, they are just shown there to show that I did delete them. If you close out the creation kit and then open it back up, these will be gone from the list, so you won't have to worry about them. So here's the first dialog we've created, and you just want to hit, I'm just going to hit OK here at the bottom of the quest window to save it. And I'm going to save my workout here. Now as soon as you've done that, you'll want to start linking your dialogue. So open up the quest again from the object window, and in the player dialog tab again, hit branches, hit the branch that we made to show the topics in the topic table, and we will be right clicking in the empty space to create a new topic. And for this one we want to keep the prefix from before and call it meeting Gellmar yes. This calling it yes will just show us, well, that this is the option where the player agrees to help. And there you go. Adding that, the topic text, you'll want to say like, sure, I can do that. So now the player will say that, double click in here or right click and hit new in the info table to create a new response from Gellmar. And here we will want to type, oh, thank you. And then he'll say, the man that betrayed me should be somewhere deeper in the ruins. Please hurry. And then he'll say, I'll pay you good coin for your help. Let me just check the spelling. Yep, there you go. So please hurry, I'll pay you good coin for your help. After you type that, you can maybe give him some other things here. We're not going to worry about that though, so hit OK. And then it'll bring up the topic info window again. Now that you're here, we'll want to create a new condition just like we did before. Right click, hit new, and then we'll want to keep the getIsId condition function. And we will be looking for, in the parameters here, we'll be looking for our CKQ Gellmar BN actor, so that he is the only one talking, and we'll just want to hit OK. This part's already good. And there you go. Now our yes response is actually done. So you can hit OK. And we want to make a new topic for when the player says no. So meeting Gellmar no. That's our new meeting Gellmar no topic. It's actually going to nestle itself in the middle here so that it's alphabetical, but make sure you watch out for that. So in here, in the topic text, with this selected, of course, the topic text, type sorry, not right now, period. So the player will say that. And then in the info, we want to make our new response from Gellmar, and he will say, well, fine then. He's probably pretty upset that we're not going to save him, but that's okay. It's not our problem. So then you hit OK. In the topic info, we want to make sure to give another condition, of course, here. And we'll want to do the same thing as before, just so that he's the one saying it. So there you go. And click the invalid box. All you got to do is hit that, and then find our actor in the quest. There you go, with our little prefix. It's easy to type and find him. So there. Now we just hit OK, and his response, our topic is good. Hit OK, and so now we are finished with the meeting Gellmar branch. We all these topics here, they all exist within this branch, but the game doesn't right now know anything about the flow between them. We have to link them together. So to start, you want to click on this one, the meeting Gellmar branch topic, the very first thing that he will say, and we'll make it active by clicking on it. So double click on the response we made, this one, to bring up the topic info window. And then on the far right is a table. This one it says link to. In here we want to add link. So right click, add link, and then here are all the branches, including the same one. So make sure you hit, in order of what you do it is the order it will show. So you want to make sure the yes topic is the first. So this is the branch, this is the quest, and here are the topics. So hover over these to see which ones they are. So here's the yes. You want to click OK, and then right click again, add another link, and then see how it removed it from the list because you wouldn't want to have the same option twice. So then you want to click no, so that now when after the player asks, do you need anything, he'll say his 2 lines, his story, and then you are now given the option to pick yes or no in that order. And so this is how you link dialogue. So then now you just want to hit OK to close the dialog box, and so there you go. Now that when he's done talking, he'll give the player his choices. Okay, now I'm going to close and I'm going to save, and then we're going to get right back to it. So in the object window, find your quest, from character quest, and in this part we are going to start scripting our dialogue. So to do that, we need to work in the scripting system, of course. It's pretty brief, this part. Later on we'll be getting into a little bit more scripting. I'll provide all of the scripts that I will use. Of course, they'll just be on screen. And they will not be a huge deal if you don't know what you're doing. So right now we have this dialogue flow set up, but the game has no notion of what the various choices actually mean. When the player says yes, we have to tell it that the player accepted the quest and we're now at the next stage of the quest. Remember, we have our quest stages here in the quest stages tab. So back in the player dialogue, let's just wait for it to load. So now down here at the bottom of the window, you'll see fields for, oh, where is it? Oh, hang on. Oh, under the yes topic. So find that one, it's this one. Double click on that to open up the topic info window. And at the bottom here, this is what I meant, you'll see the scripts part. So this is where you script the dialogue. And so begin and end, you see here, we want to type in the end field our first script. So we want to change the quest step once we finish dialogue. So I'm going to type get owning quest, some brackets, parentheses, and then dot set objective displayed 10. And then I'm going to close that parenthesis, and then I'm going to hit enter, and then in another line I'm going to write get owning quest dot set stage, and then in the parentheses 10. And so what you want to do is hit compile, and it should add the script here. We don't need to worry about this. If you typed something wrong here, like if you forgot this parenthesis and hit compile, you'll get an error message. This is just hit OK and then type it correctly. If you type compile, if you hit compile and then nothing happens, or just this pops up, then you should be fine. That's how you might do it right. So as you might expect, this part here sets the stage to 10. So it starts on 0. Once you speak to him and you hit yes, right, you're talking to him and you say, sure, I can do that, this will change the quest from 0 to 10. Up here, we have a line that gets the quest. Here's the get owning quest, and then setting the objective display 10. Right now, we don't have the objective displayed, so this doesn't do anything, so you can kind of ignore it for now, but just writing it in here will save us some time later when we're trying to worry about that. But usually setting the stage and displaying the stage is helpful to do at the same time. So now you just hit compile to save that, you're all good, and then hit OK, and that's all we're doing for the scripting part right here. Now you want to hit OK at the bottom of the quest window, and of course this is another good chance to save your work. But now we're going to set up the story manager. This is an important step of our quest, because if you don't do this, I mean if you don't do any of these steps, none of it will work, but this is an important step to get the functionality overall. So to get started on the story manager, over in the object window, oops, I didn't mean to open this back up, I just kind of did that. Over in the object window, you want to clear the filter, and then you want to scroll all the way to the top, and under character, and then SM event node, you'll see these options here. For our quest, we need to set up a change location event, which is this one. Double click on it, and it'll bring up this kind of window here, this SM event node window. This information, this might not be there for you. It's not terribly important if it is or isn't. What you want to do to get this though is click on the text that says stacked event node, this one, the top, and right click and hit new branch node. This creates what you see here. So it should kind of just do that. So now, at the bottom of these nodes, there's this stacked branch node with an asterisk. Right click this one and hit new quest node. And on the new quest node that appeared, it should say stacked quest node. Just want to right click that and add quests. Here's where you want to search for the quest we made. And it's just as simple as CKQ01. And just find it and hit it. Okay. So now it knows about the quest. Okay. And you want to highlight it. So clicking on this at the bottom, see these changed what shows up in the node properties down here. You click this to have it show up, and now we want to set a condition for this node. So right click in the table, hit new, and under the condition, this is similar to what we saw before. You just want to pick the condition function. This is going to be different from before. We're going to click or select don't put a space, get event data. So that's where our condition function is, and then here we can notice that this actually shows 3 new things. So in the field there's a few more pieces of information to add. So first, this part's a little bit tricky because it involves a few other things, but it's not too bad. So here first we want to keep this as getIsId. We are going to want that. And then in the new location, it should default to new location. Just keep it that. And then in this third part, it says optional. It may be optional, but what you can do is just find the location that your cell technically uses. So to find this out, keeping these windows open, down here in this cell view, I'm going to click on that just to put it on top of everything. Search for the cell that you're working in. So mine is called CKQ West 01. I'm going to just have that clicked on, and then if you move over to the right, you can see that the location it actually uses is called Nysgrod location. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but anyway, that's the cell I actually copied when I created this. So that's what I want to put for this third one. It just helps for that. So that's how I did that. And then you want to hit OK, just so that it's the same. It may not be too important. And then these other ones are okay. So you just hit OK. Now it has a condition. And now that you've done the condition, you're actually all done with this event node stuff. So you can hit OK. Now you can actually save. And what you can do is you can start the game up and test out the dialogue actually. So if you talk to Gellmar, he'll have his first line of dialogue, and then you'll be able to say, hey, are you need any help? And then he'll say his 2 lines, one after the next, and then the player will be given a choice to say yes or no. And there's no voice acting right now. I'm not going to set that up in the tutorial here, but you can do that when you are in the response section. You can actually voice record your lines if you would like to, or you can select that from a few other options. But so yeah, that's what we're going to be doing, and next we'll be working on dialogue for completing the quest. And getting started on setting up your completion dialogue is pretty simple. So we just need to go back into our object window here, and we just want to bring up our quest again. You go to character quests, or you can just go to all and search it now. But I'm going to do it here, CKQ. There it is. Double click on it. And we're going to want to create dialogue for when the player returns to Gellmar with the key at the end, which we still haven't made. That closes out the quest. So open up this quest info page, the window, with the player dialogue tab open, find the branches table here. And we're going to want to create a new branch. So right click in the empty space and hit new. Name this branch. Keep the prefix from our quest, just for helpfulness, and name it Gellmar Finish Branch. And then hit OK. And it's going to pop up this window because we're creating a new topic. This first topic default is pretty good. We're just going to keep that, so just hit OK. And then click on the topic to bring this part into view. And for the topic text, have it read, I've brought the key, period. So now, just like before, we're going to want to create a new response for Gellmar, double clicking in the info space to create a new response. And he's going to say, thank you much, friend. And he's also going to say, now I can finally get out of here. And yeah, that's it. So then hit period. I'm just gonna see, here's where you can voice record yourself if you want. And if you actually do record your voice for this, whatever microphone you have plugged in when you load up the editor will be what it will read from your recording device. So there you go. So just hit OK, and then now we're in the topic info page, and we'll want to set our conditions just like before. Hit new, and then the parameters, click this invalid box and select our actor, Mr. Gellmar here, CKQ Gellmar, and hit OK. And of course, that's all you need to do, just hit OK. And now we're going to create our second condition. And for this, change the getIsId to getStage. And then now we're going to want to, in the invalid box, select our quest from the box. There it is. Pretty easy when you just have 3 letters. Hit OK. And so now we want to find the quest again. We want to set this value to 30. And don't check this off like into anything else. We want to keep it exactly 30, because if you do the less than, his first line will also follow, like it'll also fit that condition. So he'll say this line later on or early, and you don't want him to say it too early. So quests, the reason we have this number as 30 is because here, if you hit OK here and then hit OK again, in our quest stages, 30, and if you remember from earlier, quest stage 30 is when you pick up the key, like when you have the key. So before you meet him, you talk to him, he accepts the quest, and so you accept the quest, and then here's where you're gonna be tasked to kill Nysgrod. Here you're tasked to pick up the key, so you have the key, and then this quest stage will be to bring it back to him and to end the quest. So we want to have it here because we haven't reached the like you have brought me the key part yet. So back in player dialog tab in our Gellmar Finish branch topic, double clicking on our text here, bringing this back up, we want this still. So after we've set our conditions, we want to check the box here that says goodbye. What these do are like, they just do different things during the dialogue. This has lip file, even though it's checked, it's not too important. Like just leave it checked. And the goodbye here, what this does is once the dialogue box, like once he's done saying this line, it will automatically close dialogue. So like before when you were talking to him, you talk to him, he's like, oh thank you, you know, And then you just kind of have to hit tab or you have to hit escape just to get out of the dialogue. Saying goodbye here makes it so once he's done talking, you will automatically be taken out of the dialogue. It's just that simple. Now it's important to also create some script. We need to create script here so that in the end part, so that we can we can set the quest stage transition to 40 so that it moves on. Okay, so we are going to type in here get owning quest, type in that, and then set stage 40. And we aren't including the display 40 quest marker because at this point quest stage 40 is actually our last, like you would just win at that point. We don't need to have it say like, oh, the next thing. So now you just want to hit compile to make sure it's all right, and there you go. This should pop up if you do it right. You hit OK on the topic info to close that, and we are going to close this quest window again. So I'm going to hit save here. So after you do all that scripting for the ending dialogue, we need to make this the key that will actually save him and the key that you need to bring to him. So for our purposes, we will be copying an existing item, a key, and changing its values. This way we already have a 3D model set up for it, and we're already starting with something we know works. So we don't have to mess with each particular setting. Actually, all of the, and I read that the developers use this to make every item anyway. So they will take the base of an item and just change it. So to start this, in the object window up here, clear the filter like I did, scroll all the way to the bottom and click all. And now in your filter, type, for our purposes, type lost knife, if I can spell knife right, lost knife, and it's right there, but I'm going to type the rest of it, cage key. So there. Now this item is on our screen. It doesn't matter what the key is. You could probably just type key in here and copy any key. It's just, it kind of sounds like it fits what we're doing for it. So here you want to double click the name of the item actually. You could also try this. And what we will do is it'll show the information about the key that we looked at, and changing the ID here to what we want. Changing these values isn't important if you're worried about overwriting this. Once you change the ID and if you hit OK, it'll actually ask you if you want to create a new item. So here for the ID, change it to CKQ key, and for the name we want to make it key to Gellmar's cage. And so keep everything else the same. This value, for a key I don't want to add any value, but this weight is the carry weight. Quest items, which we're going to make this later on a quest item, it won't really matter. But value, we don't want the player to really see a reason to sell this, so we're going to leave it at 0. And then just hit OK. And then see, it's going to ask, do you want to create a new form? Hit yes, absolutely. So now up here I'm going to change my filter to CKQ key so that it's the one that we see here. And so now we have our key. This works for any particular item. If you tried, I'm going to just demonstrate if you tried to do it with a piece of armor or a weapon. So if you type in, like, let's do steel mace, and let's see, I'm going to find there the basic steel mace. If you double click on this, you're going to be given a lot more information about it. It's not really much different than what we did. You'll just want to change the ID and the name and then hit OK. And later on we will be doing some scripting for this item. So you want to make sure you're able to find where the scripts area is. It's not too hard to find. So I'm not going to actually do this, but later on I'll talk about it again. So now that the key is done, you can place it in Nysgrod's inventory, which we want to do. We want him to have the key on him, just like Gellmar said it was. So find the object in this object window. If you're in the all section, you just type the quest prefix. All of the items we made, these two are not part of our quest, they just include the letters. But these are our 4 items that we made, or this is the quest. These are our actors, this is the item. So click on Nysgrod, double click on him to open his base data. Right? Now, in the inventory tab of the actor window, we want to right click in here where his inventory is listed, right click, hit new. This will create the default object here, because it's just the first in the alphabet, right? So in here, in the object, type in CKQ key, should show up pretty soon, hit enter, and now he has the key in his inventory. It's just that simple. So now, make sure everything is correct about that, and hit OK to close our actor window. So there, now he has it. And now we want to make sure that the key he has actually works on the cage that we have Gellmar inside of. So scroll over here to the cage we put him in, and I'm going to double click on the door to the cage. It should show up, and in this this reference window, click lock. And before we had set this to none, now we want to search for our key, CKQ key, and boom, now it works. Go ahead and hit OK. And so now I'm going to save, and you can hit now you can test it out in the game, and it should work. So you talk to him, and he'll go ahead and tell you to get the key. And if you actually come over here in the dungeon and you find our enemy here, Nysgrod, and you kill him, the key will appear in his inventory along with his weapon and the armor. And bringing it back to the cage will allow you to open it, because we set it so that it required a key, but we didn't have a key set for it. So now you can open it up. But that's not quite done for us yet. So here we're gonna start some quest scripting. In starting your quest scripting, you're gonna want to save your work. It's especially important for this part because this part is a little bit lengthy and a little involved. I will of course have everything I do on screen. You won't have to worry about not knowing how to script. I'll explain most of what I do in the Papyrus scripting section. So yeah, so here to start, we're going to want to add a script to our Nysgrod character. Before that, I should mention that this part of the tutorial will show how to use scripting to advance the quest line based on a player action. I earlier showed how to script dialogue, but I'll show now how to attach arbitrary scripts to actors and game objects as well, because we're going to be giving these actors some scripts and our key object a script. So first, in Nysgrod, open him up in the object window. If you just have all and then filter from our quest prefix, you can find it easily. Here, we were just here a second ago. Now, from any of these tabs, you can see this section on the left that says Papyrus Scripts, and you'll want to add a script. So click Add. This will bring up a list of scripts actually already in the game. Hit New Script, and then hit OK. And then in here you want to type in the name of your new script. So we will type CKQ, and I'm going to finish it with Nysgrod FF script, and there you go. So that's his name and the script. You hit OK. And then once that's done, it'll add the script here. And right now it's not actually doing anything, but it's there. So what you want to do now is double click on the script name or hit this properties part, and it'll bring up this. So what you want to do is these properties, they essentially just act as kind of the like what it does section, just kind of like it's like a link. So add property here, and be careful here. You don't want to hit enter after you type in or after you select this type, because it'll actually, without giving it the name of a property. So first in type, you want to hit this drop down, or you can type it in quest. Have it be quest, and then in the new property, like replace that in the name and make it say, hold on, we want to add property and put tutorial quest 01 here. So this isn't too important, but this is just a shortcut for later. So we put this name in here, have OK, and so then you have this new property name, and the properties, the scripts don't know without properties what they're supposed to do, and they don't know about any objects except for the one that they're attached to. So these properties hook them together, and what this is doing is we're going to eventually, like right here, we're going to link this name tutorial quest to all the objects in our quest. In our example, we want the quest to set stage 20 when Nysgrod is killed. So we need to tell the script which quest we care about, of course. So now with the property added, we want to tell it which quest it actually is. So in here, we need to hit edit value on the side here, and a new pull down will appear. This is where you can pick from the quests. Simply type in the name of our quest here, and there you go. Now it knows what type quest, and this is giving the tutorial quest 01 name our quest. You hit OK, and now it should change how it looks here, and now it's all good. Now that we've added this property, we want to give the script some actual scripting. So right click the script name and hit edit source. This will bring up this editing script source editor, and you want to notice a few things. So this first line says script name CKQ Nysgrod FF script extends object reference. This line is kind of a boilerplate that the editor made for us when we created the script. A few lines below this is the textual version of the property we made. So it's quest and then property tutorial quest 1 auto. This we don't need to mess with. All you gotta do is go below this, click on there, so your bar is just there, and you can start typing. So for the script, we're going to want to type this next bit of code here. I'm going to look to my left and just copy it in. So it's event on death, and then actor killer. And then here, this next line, tutorial quest 01 dot set objective displayed, and then 20, set this 20th objective to be displayed, and then I'm going to hit tab tutorial quest 01 dot set stage 20, and then I want to end event. And everything here is case sensitive. You want to be careful. So if you typed this in correctly, you can hit Control S to save it. And if you typed anything wrong, you would get a different message, but here you can see there's 0 errors, 0 warnings. So let's say I have like a weird symbol at the end here. If you type it in wrong, hit save, you'll get this. If this shows up, you want to hit no and make sure you did it right. Hit Control Save. And there you go. Once this is good, you can actually just hit the X here, you close it. And now I'll explain what these actually did. So in the edit source here, in this first line, this is creating a new event it's calling the on death event. And this actor is this first part where it says actor is the variable that it's getting, like the variable type. And then this is just what we're calling it, killer, like what killed it. It doesn't really matter too much. So actor, killer. And we're not even using these fields, so they're just there to be included. Tutorial quest 1 is what we have as our quest. Set objective displayed. Remember, we haven't set up the objectives yet, but on this actor's death, this new objective will be displayed eventually, and right now what it does is it sets the stage forward to 20. And this end event line here just ends that section because you need to include it when you start an event. So hitting save here again. I didn't change anything, but that's fine. And then closing. Now you want to, let's see. Now you want to, actually now you have another opportunity to close this out and hit save right before we script the key item. Now we can script the key similarly to how we scripted Nysgrod. So up in the object window, you want to filter and get the key, double click on that, and here is our Papyrus script section. If you chose a different item to be your quest item, it would likely be a bigger window than this one. You just want to find this section that says scripts, Papyrus scripts, and that's how you get started. So here we can just make a new script like we did before, hit add, and we'll want to call this one CKQ key script 01. Oh wait, well you actually want to, this is the filter, you want to create a new script first. So hit OK. And then up here in the name, add new script, this is where you type in that. There you go, you hit OK. And then it'll think for a second. And there you go, now it's in there with the script name. And of course, it's doing things, so we have to add properties to it. So click this, add properties, and try this for a shortcut trick. If you just add property, do this for, what is this? You do the quests, of course. Oops, projectiles, not what I want. I want quest. Here you can just type in for the name, call this CKQ01 instead of tutorial quest 01 and see what happens. You hit OK. And now, if you click on this, you can see it auto-filled the quest since it remembers from before. So there you go, now that's done, you just hit OK. And now our key script has the properties, and we want to, and now we would just want to edit the source. So right click, edit source, add some code to it, and here we have something similar to what we saw before. And now notice that this property CKQ01 is listed instead of the tutorial quest 01. That will just be a huge time saver if you make a bunch of quests calling this quest name. So here's the code we will want to add. It is event on container changed object reference new container comma object reference old container. I'm going to close the parenthesis, enter, and then I'm going to hit tab if parenthesis new container is the same as game.get player, and then hit enter, or enter tab, CKQ01 dot set objective displayed actually yes, and then 30, and then back we're going to do another line here, CKQ dot set stage 30, 30, and then you want to end if, and then down here you want to end the event, so end event. So now what you want to do is hit Control S, save, see if there are any errors. And here I have an error. I actually believe it's right here with this D, should be lowercase. I'm gonna hit save, try again. Nope. Let me just do a quick look. Object reference, new container, object reference, old container. If new container is equal to game.getPlayer, CKQ01 set object. Well, I guess I could look down here. No. The error. I'm not exactly sure where this error is. Oh, I literally just forgot to put that in there. My bad. It should be fine. This, I don't think this needs to be capitalization. So now, no errors. My bad. We've got that all figured out. With that good, now there are a few things to know. I'm gonna explain what everything here does. So this is the event called on container changed. What this does is it finds the object reference to a variable called new container and old container. So it's kind of what it sounds like. It's when the old container is when an object moves from one place to a different place. And we're saying if the new container that it finds, because it knows, is the player's inventory. And remember, this is on the key, so if the key moves from wherever it is to the player's inventory, it now will set objective display 30. We haven't set those up yet completely yet, remember, but it'll now also set the stage to 30. So after set stage 20 would be to kill Nysgrod, 30 will be to 20 is to get the key, and 30 is to bring it back to Gellmar, which we also haven't written yet, but remember that was in our quest idea. And then this is ending the if, and this is our ending the event, because they are necessary for the syntax. Save that. Once it's good, you hit close, and you can now also just close this. Now at this point you can save your game, your plugin project, and now you can actually play your quest to completion. But the player right now still has no way to see when they finish quest stages, and we will address that next. For players to be able to track their current goals and quest targets more easily, we're going to create, of course, our quest objectives, and we're going to also tie up some loose ends a little later on that will confuse or frustrate the player if they aren't addressed. So first, we want to talk about aliases. Now, when a player goes through a quest in Skyrim, they're able to see the quest in their menu, their current objective is seen, and they get an idea of where they need to go for the next part of the story. Our first step in making quest objectives is setting up their targets, which means our first dive into the world of aliases. You can think of aliases as the quest divining roles that various people, places, and objects will play in the course of its story. Each alias points to a specific reference or place in the game world. For our example quest, these roles include Gellmar, they include Nysgrod, and the key. Each of these has to get defined in a slightly different way. Now, to do this first, we will open up the quest from the object window again and move to the quest aliases tab. And here you can see there's a giant empty table here. What we want to do to start this all up is right click a new reference alias, and we are going to create the alias for Gellmar. So it takes a long time to open this up because of how much information there is actually. Thankfully we won't need to worry about a lot of this. We only really need this kind of part right here. So first what we want to do is in the alias name type in Gellmar, simply just Gellmar, and check the unique actor radio box here, radio button, and in the fill section here we want to select our actor, so CKQ Gellmar BN, and once that's good, and then if it doesn't show up in this list, actually it's because earlier when you were making the Gellmar actor, you may have forgotten to check the unique actor checkbox. I did spend a little time on that, so it shouldn't have happened, but if it doesn't show up in this list, that is why. So you want to make sure he's there. And there you go. So then you hit OK at the bottom. Now on my device, and I think on some other people's, the OK box will just be off screen because of how much information there is here. So what you can do is in the alias name at the top, click here to enter the dialog box and hit enter, and then boom, now you will be able to close it. And then once we do that, we're going to want to create our next alias, so new reference alias, and we're going to want to do this for Nysgrod. So once it loads up, we have to type that in, and in the name spot type Nysgrod, and that's what we want our alias name to be. And because he's not a unique actor, remember we didn't set him to be unique because he's created from a template, we have to use a specific reference to fill this type this time. So click on the radial fill box, and then in use forced reference, click that, and then see it'll bring up this. Before clicking on anything here, we want to use this to get Nysgrod. So click actually into your reference window or render window, and then in your scene, in your cell, find Nysgrod, and he's right here for me. And then once he's on screen, click back into this, select reference in render window, then double click on him and check that he is the proper reference there, hit OK, and now the fill type knows about who we're talking about. So there you go. Now it's time to make our third alias. to close this, you want to type up here or hit OK if it just shows up for you, but I'm going to click here, hit enter, and then right here, right click, new reference alias. This one's going to be for the key. Now this is a little tricky. Only actors can be unique, so the unique type won't work, and we can't set it to a specific reference because it only exists in Nysgrod's inventory. So what we want to do for this one is for the alias to itself to create its own reference. So what we need to do here is first we're going to type up here, we can just simply type key for the name, and for the fill type we want reference to object, create reference to object. Click that radio button. For me it's taking a little while. Okay. There we go. Oh, it's there. Now I'm just gonna wait for it because it actually is a little slow. There we go. Now it's popping up. So you're gonna want to fill in a few things here. In this first one, select the object. So type CKQ key, and once that pops up, you hit enter. This level won't matter. Actually, it's like a difficulty kind of menu. Since we aren't making an actor, there's no notion of the object's difficulty. That's not important. So for this third spot and the radial buttons again, you want to say in, create in, because it's going to be inside of an inventory. And then here we can select the Nysgrod reference or alias, so that now it will create a key in Nysgrod's inventory, and that will be a new alias. So since this actually creates a key in Nysgrod's inventory, we want to first hit up here where I'm going to click OK to save this alias. It's going to create that second key, so we need to remove the first key from Nysgrod's inventory so that it doesn't duplicate the object, because this reference will, or this alias reference will duplicate the key. So I'm going to hit OK on the bottom of the quest, and then in I'm going to click on in the object window here, I'm going to click on Nysgrod, double click him, and in the inventory, it should already be up, but if you don't see it, it's in the inventory tab, and then here's the key. You can right click on it and hit delete, and there, now there won't be two keys in there. So hit OK at the bottom left to close that, and then I'm gonna save my work from here, and next we'll work on the actual quest objectives. To start making quest objectives, you want to open up the quest window again that we just closed between saving, and navigate to the quest objectives tab. Here we will see a whole bunch of new information. So each objective we make will have an index, a number we'll use to refer to it, and text will be displayed to the player, and a list of targets that will get arrows placed on them on the player's map and in-game interface compass. To make a new objective, right click in the in this area here. Oh wait, actually, yes, sorry. Click new and leave this changed, and right down here is where you change this number. So change this index to 10. Oh, I hit enter. You don't want to do that. Open it back up. So there you go. Now back to 10. And make the display text here say kill Nysgrod fine foot. So after you talk to Gellmar for the first time, it's going to display this at the very top. It's going to say new objective, kill Nysgrod fine foot. And then generally you want to match up this index with the quest stage number. It's just helpful to do that. It can get kind of messy if you have a complicated kind of quest, but with quests like mine, where there's just around 5 or so stages, it's not too big of a deal. It just makes things easier to follow. So in the table below the index and display text fields, right-click and hit New to create a new quest target. It's gonna pop up this one with Gellmar as the default. You want to switch it actually to we want to click on this and make it into Nysgrod so that he is now where the quest marker on the compass and in the map will be pointing to. So once that pops up, that's what will show up. So for you, this may show none. It's not a big deal. Just click Nysgrod. So there. Now you just want to make another objective appear. So just like before, a lot faster this time, we're gonna right-click, hit New, go here, change this index to 20. The display text to say what's wrong here? Oh, gotta click on it. Retrieve the key to Gellmar's cage. And then your target alias, you want to right click here, hit New, change this to target alias key so that it knows that we want the key. And this will update. So now, here you can see that it updated. Excuse me. And then here we want to make a third objective. This one being 30. With the display text saying return to Gellmar with the key. I'm not going to put a period there. And then target alias new, keep it Gellmar. I want Gellmar to be the target. And now that those quest objectives are done, we need to go to the quest stages tab that we were messing around in at the very beginning. So these are our stages. And we want to add some logic to make the quest objectives display properly. Now, we did take some time in each of the scripts to ensure that, but just as a failsafe, you can also do this, and I recommend doing this just in case that the other one doesn't work. So in stage 10 of the list, and you want to do everything else I'm doing anyway, in order to add logic or script to add script or the log entry, we want to add some log entry. You want to have at least one what is called a quest stage item. So what you have to do is to create a quest stage item is right click in here and hit New. So now we have a quest stage item, and see, without one of these you wouldn't be able to type anything in here or put any preparer's script in here. But we don't want to leave this empty because we're going to have some instructions for the player. So log entries are the bits of text that appear when you look at the quest. So you click the quest, you see that in your list of quests that you have Gellmar's Savior is what I called it originally, and at the top it'll show like what you're doing. So here we're gonna write the following: I've met Gellmar Bognose, who was betrayed and locked in a cage by someone nearby. By someone, my apologies, by someone he knows. This isn't like that important, but it's good to write it the way I have it. The man that betrayed him is nearby and has the key to the cage with him. And then we want to write Gellmar offered to pay me well for retrieval of the key. There you go. So this will show up in the player's logbook at the top of the quest description. So this is like what that is. And so now we want to add some Papyrus script here. So we're going to add the script logic. Put this line in the box here. So set objective displayed 10. Sorry, I'm kind of slow at typing. And there you go. Now that's all you want to do, and hit compile. If nothing pops up, then it's good. I promise it worked. And then this sets the current objective to show 10, which what we said was to kill Nysgrod, and we will actually with this setting up the first objective showing, when the player gets this will actually, because it's the first objective for this quest, it'll cause the big started quest banner at the top to be shown to the player. So now you want to hit stage 20 in the index area. It'll just save if you move on. So hit to stage 20, and we're going to create a new quest item here, the log entry. Now we're not going to type anything in this log entry box because the story hasn't changed from then into there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add some script here. This quest step is, of course, remember, this step is right after we've killed Nysgrod, because 10 is to kill Nysgrod, 20 is you've done that. But this is before you pick up the key, so we want this, of course, to tell the player to get the key. So we have two things to do here. First, we have to tell the player that the previous objective to kill Nysgrod has been completed, and then we want to set their next goal. We do that in 2 lines of script here. So set objective completed. 10 is the objective we've completed, and then set objective displayed 20. So now the player has completed killing Nysgrod, and then here the player has, now they need to pick up the key. And there you go. Just hit compile, and if nothing shows up, then you're good. And so now we're leaving this blank because the story hasn't really changed. And now do the same thing for step 30. I'm going to copy these lines. And then in step 30, create a new quest stage item. And then in here, I'm going to paste. And I'm going to change these, of course, to, because this is similar to what we're doing. This is the player has picked up the key, so they have completed that objective. And then here, we want to change this to say 30. So now return with the key to Nysgrod is what it will show up for that. So I'm going to compile that. It should be good. There you go, it's good. And then in stage 40, now there's a lot more that we're about to do in stage 40. So in stage 40, we only need to complete objective 30 because there is no objective like 50. So here now I'm gonna, or there's no display for 40. So we're gonna hit new here, create our new quest item, and in the Papyrus fragment, I'm going to paste this line again, but it's just objective completed. We only want to keep the set objective completed 30 here. And down here, be sure to do this. Complete quest, check that box. So when this step is completed, you have completed the quest. And down here you could set like another quest to activate after, but we're not doing that because we don't have to. So there, now the completed banner will show up at the top when a player completes this stage 40. And this will also move the quest into the inactive portion of the player's journal so that it shows that they've finished it. And now this final journal entry, log entry, whatever, you want to type like what happened in the quest, since now it's in the past and you've done it. So you can read about what you did. So I'm going to write down here, I met Gellmar Bognose and was paid well for retrieval of the key to the cage he was trapped in. I'm going to hit period there. And there you go. Now everything should work just like we want in the game. So you can just hit OK to close this quest window. And now you can save. And actually now you can try testing the quest out in the game, and everything should work pretty well if you follow the quest steps. So you just talk to him and then accept the quest. He'll tell you to kill Nysgrod, and at the top it'll start the quest, and then your objective that will display will say kill Nysgrod. And then when you kill Nysgrod, it'll say objective completed, kill Nysgrod, get the key to Gellmar's cell or cage. And then if you pick up the key, you actually will complete that objective just like before. So complete the objective, and then it'll say return to Gellmar with the key. And then if you return to Gellmar over here, you will be greeted with the final dialogue that we wrote for him, and it will auto end the conversation as we have set it to do, and then the quest will be finished. That's now what our quest does. But there are a few things to think about now that that could mess our quest up. Like, we need to handle the loose end situations. Like, what if you pickpocketed Nysgrod? So you skipped this step. You didn't kill him, or you went and killed Nysgrod before even talking to Gellmar. So we're about to address some of those situations here. So to start handling these loose end situations, I'll list all of the ones that we need to actually take care of. So first, we need to address Gellmar being killed, before or after we accepted the quest, which would render it impossible to complete the quest if we already started it. So say the player came over here with the key, opened it, and then they just killed him, and it would be impossible to complete the quest at that point. Of course, I talked about this before, like just a second ago. If you pickpocketed the key, it would advance the quest improperly. It would advance the quest properly, but leave extra objectives hanging around uncompleted and uncompletable. The player could find and kill Nysgrod before talking to Gellmar, which would cause the quest to advance and be confusing. I said that before. Gellmar doesn't actually take the key from the player at the end of the quest. So, I mean, this isn't always important, but if you are trying to bring back, say, I lost my like trusty sword, and I know that it's somewhere in this cave, right? You go and get the item, but now how do you give the item to the NPC at the end of the quest? And here we're going to address that, of course. And then we're also going to address what if the player just drops the key somewhere along the way, or they leave and come back and they don't have it now. And that would be impossible to complete the quest at that point, and that would be a huge problem. So we'll tackle these one at a time here. So first, with killing Gellmar, there are two options for handling Gellmar dying. We either shut down the quest so it doesn't hang around, annoying the player forever, or we make it so Gellmar can never die. If Gellmar is a character we need in the future, we may want to make him unkillable, for example. First, I'm going to address the situation to handle his death. So if you want to, and after I'll do the situation where you can just make him unkillable, which is a lot easier in case you're just going to have a self-contained quest like this one. But I'm going to make it so that if you kill him, that the quest just says that you failed and it ends it, so you can't complete it. So to do that, and you can do both of these, it won't affect too much. So this first one will be to handle the death normally. So if we want him to be killable to end the quest, we'll show how to handle that. We've already seen how to complete a quest at a certain stage with the complete quest box, which was a checkbox that I made at the end of the stage 40. When that stage is set, the quest gets moved to the inactive part of the player's journal with the completed, and then the quest name banner will pop up. Failing a quest works similarly, but the player will see a failed instead. Open the quest back up like this through the object window, and from your quest stages tab, which we are already on, make a new quest stage number 200. And this number is kind of arbitrary, but it's just extra big to show that it's way later than anything else here. And I'm going to create a new item here, and then in the log entry you want to type some sad text, or like, I failed to rescue Gellmar from the cage, just like that. I failed to rescue him. And then check the fail quest box at the bottom here. So this will now this will do that, the fail situation. But now we need to set up Gellmar so that this stage will be set when he dies. So we'll put a script on him just like we did with Nysgrod, and we'll want to do that by closing this quest window and then opening him up from the object window, Gellmar. And once he's up, here on the left in the Papyrus script section, we'll want to add a script. Of course, click new script like I did before, hit OK. And then in the name here, we just want to name it like CKQ Gellmar BN script. Oh wait, oops. 01. There you go. And there you go. So now once that's created, you just want to add your properties. And in this first property, you want to add quest. And then here, remember, we type in our quest. And that's our shortcut, of course. Hit OK. It'll autofill this. If you just click on that, it'll just show it. There you go. And then here is what we want to set the script text. So right click, edit source, and then down here we will type in what we want. So I'm going to type in event on death, similar to before. On death actor, and then AK killer, and that's just the variable name. Enter tab if, and then not CKQ01 dot is completed. So if the quest isn't completed yet, is what this line does. On this actor's death, we will I'm going to hit enter tab twice, and then CKQ01 dot set stage 200, and then that's gonna end if end event. So yes, I'm gonna just save it, see if it's all good and right. Yep, it is. So here on the death of Gellmar, if he dies, and the quest is not completed, that's what this exclamation point is if you're not familiar, then it will set the stage of the quest to do 100. So this only sets the stage if he dies, when the quest is not completed yet. So there, now you can close this out, and it is all set up and good. So now here we have to check if the quest is completed, of course. So now that is all good. So that's what you want to do if you want the quest to just say that you failed if you kill them. Another easy option that I mentioned earlier is to simply just make him immortal. So the other option is in his actor window here that I have already up. If you just check the essential box right here, he is now an essential actor. So he will now, instead, if the player attacks him and he gets to low enough health, he'll drop to the ground in a bleed out animation where he's just like right thing on the floor. He'll stand up again when combat is done, and he'll just be chilling again. So he won't be able to die with this checked, and it actually overwrites the script we just wrote. So this is what you want to use if you just want to make him unkillable. And there you go. So now you just hit OK, and he is good. So there you go. Now we have addressed that loose end for the potential killing of Gellmar. So next we want to look at the pickpocketing potential. So in thinking about pickpocketing, if we refer back to our key script, if you double click it in the object window, right click the script name inside it, edit source, you can see that this part of the script, remember, tells the player, okay, now that it's moved, that the next thing you want to do is to go and bring it back to Gellmar. So here I'm going to close this out, and in our quest, in stage 30, it shows that once you complete objective 20, it'll display objective 30. Now here we also want to add a few things, because objective 20 never gets set until Nysgrod is actually killed. So the best way to handle seeing if stage 30 activates before step 10 was done is to add some script here. And right now it looks like this, but we want to add some right before. So up here I'm going to add this. If not get stage done 20, and here's the, oops, why is it doing that? And tab, wait. I want to tab over. Should be alright. I'll just hit space 3 times. Set objective displayed 10, comma, false. And then that will, here I'm going to end, if that line right here is now going to show, or now going to hide the objective to kill Nysgrod from the player's log of different steps to do. So now if the player killed Nysgrod or grabbed the key, then it would say you completed the killing Nysgrod, which you didn't do. So it'll hide that. But now, now if the player kills Nysgrod after pickpocketing the key, the player will still receive an additional objective to retrieve the key we already have, leaving 2 active objectives. We can easily solve this by editing the tutorial quest 01 script that we gave Nysgrod earlier. So I'm going to close this back out. Do it. There you go. Open him up. this actor base data from the object window. And here in the Papyrus script, right click, edit source. Here's what we have, remember. We just need to add a new line. So right here, we're going to tab into it if tutorial quest 01 dot get stage and then is less than 30. And then now we put all of that inside this end if, and then save it again to make sure it works. I'll make sure you did that earlier too. Also save the other one. So there. Now this, now what it does is it only sets our new objective displayed saying now grab the key only if it didn't already pass the stage where you have to grab it. So there, that will correct the issue. Hit OK. And there you go. Now you have solved both of those issues. And next we want to worry about in case the player kills Nysgrod before ever talking to Gellmar. So if Nysgrod is found and killed before talking to Gellmar, that would be a huge problem because the quest will be completed out of order again. You don't want the player killing Nysgrod and then be tasked with the quest without even knowing who Gellmar is, because if you start the game up and you actually go out and find Nysgrod, kill him, then it'll actually give you the start quest, and then your next objective will be to get the key. And if you open up and pause, it'll be like, wait, who's Gellmar? Who's this guy? Who, what's going on? So to prevent this, we'll leave everything as is, but disable Nysgrod until the appropriate stage of the quest, so the player never even has a chance to kill and loot him before the appropriate time. To disable him, simply click on him in the render window. So in here, just got to go over here and find him. He's just right there. Just click on him, double click on him to bring up the reference window. And you want to find the initially disabled box right here and check that. So now he will not appear until, well, now he won't appear at all actually. You hit OK, so he will start disabled, but we need to turn him to appear at the right time. So in our so open up our quest again in the object window, and in stage 10, when you are supposed to go and begin hunting him down, in the Papyrus fragment here, we need to add another line of code to help show this. So after that, after we are told to kill Nysgrod, type this code. So alias underscore Nysgrod dot get reference dot enable, and then there. So now you want to hit compile, of course. So these are a few new things. So alias Nysgrod is just grabbing the alias that it knows about, the quest knows about, but you have to include this get reference, otherwise it still just doesn't know what you're talking about. And the get reference, remember, is because, I mean, you need that anyway, but in our scene, the alias requires the reference from in the scene that we made. And then this enable is just a function to call to enable him. And then you compile that. If it's all right, should be good. We did that a little bit already. And now when we play the game, Nysgrod will be missing if you decide to explore the dungeon until the player accepts the quest by speaking to Gellmar. I'm going to hit OK on the quest window here, and I'm going to save. And then we're going to worry about giving the actual key to Gellmar, like moving the item between the inventories again. Of course, you don't lose the key when you finish the quest, so then you neither give the key to Gellmar nor receive any reward as well. So both of these are easily fixed. To give Gellmar the key after finishing the quest, we want to open up the stages of the quest. Here, let's do that. So quest stages. From the quest stages tab, go to stage 40, and right now it only contains this line. Oh my, well, this was supposed to be just 30. Fix that real fast. And then what we want to do is add the following line to this. So now alias underscore Gellmar dot get reference dot add item, and then alias underscore key dot get reference. And as you can see, each time we call an alias, we have to call this function of get reference. So here now we have Gellmar is going to add an item. That's what this function does. It adds the item in the parameters to his inventory. So here it's getting the reference and it's just adding it. And there you go. So you compile that. And then now there's a new issue because of this. Gellmar can now be trapped in the cage with no way out. See, if you close this, after completing the quest, the player can walk over here and open up the door for him. But now, if they give it to him and they talk to him first, he will have no way of opening the door after. So now we want to fix that issue. So we want to create a new alias for the cage's door. So navigate into here, into the quest window, and into the quest aliases tab. Right click to create a new reference alias in an empty space. And name this alias when it eventually shows up to cage door. And then click the fill type radial button for specific reference, the top one. Click this select force reference. It's going to bring this up again. Click into your render window and make sure that the door is on screen, because we want to make sure that the door is our reference. So then select reference in render window, and then you double click on the door and make sure that it's right, metal cage door 01. You hit OK. So now it knows what the reference is. Now you want to hit OK. We don't need any conditions. Hit the OK button by going up here for me, clicking in the text box, hit enter. And now we have the reference, the alias reference to the cage door. So in the quest stages tab, back in stage 40, we have these lines from just a minute ago, but now we need to add another few lines for the door. So now we want to add alias underscore cage door dot get reference and then dot lock. So this function right here, the dot lock, will unlock the door. So now the door will no longer have a requirement to have the key. And remember, this happens at the end of the quest, so it's no big deal. And then you hit enter, and then we're going to add another one. Alias underscore cage door dot get reference dot activate, and then alias underscore Gellmar dot get reference. Okay, now I'm going to hit compile to make sure it's all good. There. So now I'm going to explain this activate function. So activate, what we want to do is have the door activate. So if the player interacts with the door, it would normally swing open. So this activate, in the parameters here, it will activate the door, but this reference is going to activate the door. So now we have it saying that Gellmar is going to actually use the door to open it up. And having him do it just kind of automatically does it for us. You can't leave this parameter area blank, otherwise nothing will really activate it. But having him there is just perfect, works out. So there, now after the conversation ends, it'll probably be after the text goes away and the quest will say completed at the top, the door will swing open, the player will lose the key, but now we still want the player to gain the reward. So as soon as the player finishes speaking to Gellmar, we want to have them be rewarded. So we add gold the same way we add any item, but that means we have to make a property on the quest script to point to the gold. And the scripts tab all the way at the end here of the quest window, we can actually quickly view our script. And if you right click it, edit source, oh, not that, my bad. Click properties, and see, you can see all the property aliases here. This is another way to do what we were doing in the aliases, but if you add property, and then here you just type int, change that to misc object, miscellaneous object, and then the name here, you want to call it gold 001, or just gold, it doesn't really matter too much, and then you hit OK. This will autofill this part for the pick object, and now you're good to go. So click OK, and if you go into our quest stages again, in quest stage 40, we want to add another line of code, and this one will give the player money. So here now, game.getPlayer, and this will get the player, and then it will .add item, and then whatever we put in this parameter box will be what they're added, and then we have gold 001, comma, and then how much. So 500 is the reward that I have decided will be the reward. And then you hit compile to make sure it's good. Now nothing shows up, you're good. And there you go. Now the player is rewarded. If you tested it out, I'm going to click OK here. If you tested it out, the player now will receive the reward for the quest right after Gellmar takes the key and he opens up the door. Now if the player drops the key and loses it, we want to worry about that now. So to fix that, it's a pretty simple fix. There are all sorts of reasons players drop items, but just if your item wasn't a simple key and it was something with weight, like armor, you'd want to make it a quest item so that they can't drop it. And quest items actually don't have carry weight applied to the players, so it's also important to set that. So here, what we want to do is go up to the key that we made. Oh wait, actually no, it's not in here. You want to go into the quest, and we want to set a flag on the quest alias. So go to quest aliases, find the key, double click it. It'll take a second to pop up, because remember, this is what creates the key item. And up here, we want to click the top right checkbox, quest object. That will make it so the player cannot drop the item. and that's all you really have to do. You just hit enter now or OK. And then you just hit OK there. I'm going to click here. And then you just save your work and you're good. So now you are actually finished with the entire quest. You have, from start to finish, made all of the steps necessary to finish your quest. Try it out in the game and watch it work. You know, if you've created an environment like this one, it's pretty easy to get through the whole quest quickly. And thank you for watching. I hope you found this guide helpful to give you the knowledge you need to make a quest for your own project or mod or plugin or whatever you're making it for. And thank you so much.